ideology. Do you see that happening?
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. It's going to be a very difficult, except, of course, they have to detach, the Boko Haram has to detach their international affiliations from their cause. It's just like calling Al-Qaeda to come and negotiate their cause. Is it possible? Chamberlain, I want you to answer that.
You know, perhaps, maybe we haven't actually done it in the right way, because people are complaining, asking about the way and manner which we practice amnesty. It looks like a freebie given out to some form of group that has taken arm against the state. What kind of amnesty are we talking about now? Is it the same as that granted to militants in the Niger Delta?
It is not. There's no way you can compare the two situations. The Niger Delta crisis, they were asking for economic integration. They want to control their resources, and by the time, you see, you also look at what led to the amnesty of the Niger Delta. The government, the economy was being brought to a halt. The militants on their own part were equally tired. So I also hope that if Boko Haram does not accept government offer, if the government actually, because government has not made an offer as far as I'm concerned, if they fail to, then they continue until both sides reach a compromise.
But if you listen to when officials in government speak maybe at different levels now. Take, for instance, the governor of Jigawa State, where he said in that report which he played, he says, wisdom is finally prevailing that there will be eventually peace in the country if that were to be done. That gives the impression that, governments will take that, will consider that, and run with that position. So, you think that when they say some of these things, they should be speaking the position or the thinking of government, or their personal opinion, or a dint of both?
Well, his position shouldn't be the position of the federal government. Every state in the north, every governor in the north is disturbed and concerned about the economy of the state. So I feel they should do everything possible by trying to identify the leaders of Boko Haram, discuss with them, and come to federal government. It is their domain. They are the chief security officers of their various states. So, they know the people, they live among them. So, the solution, the negotiation, should start from them, then to federal government. Just like the leaders, the elders of the North made Mr. President, that amnesty should be offered. Now, on what ground are the amnesty being offered? We'll continue to emphasize this. I am not against offering of amnesty, but the terms must be defined.
You know, just as you talk about the terms, Jim Olaya is asking a big question here. He says, the question is whether they deserve the carrot, and if the carrot can actually stop the bloodbath. It's not about the terms this time. Granting amnesty to the group, will it stop the bloodbath? Is that a guarantee?
I said it earlier that up to yesterday, there were still attacks. So if the attacks continue and people are asking for amnesty, I don't know how we're going to go about it. It's a big problem. It's a very big security challenge. It's a source of distraction to governors. It's a source of distraction. People are not going about their businesses. Economy in Kano has been ground to a halt. You need to visit Kaduna and see the desertion there. It's disturbing. And our leaders, our elders, should show concern by appealing to these Boko Haram adherents for a ceasefire and to embrace peace. We need peace to develop. Without peace, there won't be development. And without development, there's no peace.
Well, I wanted us to also look at one region which we have actually used which is the amnesty in the Niger Delta. Well, over the weekend, we saw the news, not too good a story coming in from Bayelsa State specifically, and now MEND has come up to say, well, they're responsible for the killing, brutal killing of some 15 policemen. That is why people are a little bit worried about granting amnesty. Has amnesty really solved any situation that we are in now?
You see, as far as I'm concerned, the issue of amnesty, if it's not built on a solid foundation, is going to create more problems. Like you talk of the incident in Bayelsa. The group, men issued a threat, but men, known leaders, like Tompolo and the rest of them, came out to say they are not part of that threat. And for every cause, you have criminal elements. Much as I condemn the action or the incident in Bayelsa, I also want to believe that that might not be responsibility of the men, but some criminal gangs who want to stir trouble in the region. Until the investigations are concluded, I think the police is investigating the matter. A statement will come out. Now, we are not too sure whether the policemen have been killed, but for now, they have not been seen. So, any amnesty granted without a firm proposal or solution to it will create more problems for us. Because if you look at it, we've granted amnesty to the Niger Delta based on their economic struggles. Possibly we are now granting amnesty to the north, to Boko Haram on religious ground. Masob is also likely to step up the action, and they ask for amnesty, and the amnesty could be, we want a Republic of Biafra. OPC is there. So we need to be very, very careful and cautious in granting amnesty in these demands.
What do you think this says for the capacity of our security agencies in the country?
Well, the security agencies, you recall that only, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, the Senate passed a vote of confidence on the activities of the security agencies. And I think our security forces are doing their best within the available resources. The National Assembly is equally assisting by at least passing death sentence on terrorists. It might not serve the desired purpose because most of them embark on suicide. So if you use death sentence, it might not serve as a deterrent, but for those of them who are involved and are captured, are tried, it will serve as a deterrent to would-be adherents that want to come in. So for our security agencies, the government, I commend our security agencies, they are doing well. The government on this part is doing well. But we also need to strengthen our legal system, our legal process, because that's where the problem is. No one, except for Henry Oka, who was tried outside, a lot of cases are pending that are not determined. These cases need to be determined. There are high-profile people involved in this matter, and I think the security agencies too are monitoring them. Some of them are under trial. A lot of arrests have been made. Investigations are ongoing. Like I always say, it's not everything that the security agencies embark on that they disclose to the public based on the need to know. Because there are certain things that will be disclosed if we either jeopardize the course of the investigation or create fear or panic among the populace.
All right, then
our security agencies directly ask you a question there. They have the capacity to contain the situation.
Okay, well, we'll have to let it go there. Michael Ejiofor is the former director of SSS. Thank you for joining us this morning.